She knows what it is. She knows what the tractor means. Didn't have many spring droppers this year because most of them got in lamb in the first round, which was pleasing. You can see here's an old stalk here, and that's the Lucerne coming up underneath it there. First go. Just joking, there's a reversing camera there. Good morning everyone, how are we going today? It's a nice winter's morning this morning. Had a bit of a frost as you can see. It's going to be a good day I think. I'm just mixing a bit of feed for the lambs first thing. So I'm actually mixing this bit of feed up for some of the show lambs that we're going to feed this year. When we were marking the lambs, we sort of picked out some of the better lambs to put in the front paddock and start feeding. And I sort of left you guys in the dark a bit about our show sheep last year, or last show season I suppose, and that's just because our local show that didn't happen just because it was too wet, and then Canberra show there was no sheep, and then by the time I got to Cowra show, which was the other show that I was gonna go to, it's sort of, you know, the lambs weren't really up to scratch and they hadn't been to a show before, and yeah, I just ended up not entering into that one, which is a shame, but it's sort of, yeah, the whole year was a shame really. Our little local show, it hasn't run for 3 or 4 years now, due to COVID, and then last year was wet weather, which is a real shame, but we'll get back to that next year. But yeah, they're in that front paddock there, the same as they were last year. This year they're on a self feeder though. Last time I hand fed the show sheep, but this year I think I'm going to put them on a lick feeder, and then they can eat all they want then. I was a bit undecisive last year what to do, so I'm going to try the lick feeding this year. Great morning. When it's the frost, this generally means it's going to be a pretty good day, which is, we had some pretty warm weather the past couple of weeks, which has been a nice change. It's starting to warm up now, which is good. Bit hungry, were we? She knows what it is. She knows what the tractor means. So these are just a few of the stud ewes that I'm giving a bit of feed to. They're the spring droppers. They're due to lamb in sort of the next few weeks, which these are the only ones left to lamb of the stud ewes, which is good. Didn't have many spring droppers this year because most of them got in lamb in the first round, which was pleasing. Maybe hopefully the melatonin and multi-min that we gave them before they lambed helped a fair bit. Starting to get warmer. It's a good feeling. Grass is going to start growing and starting to get out of winter, which is great. I'm not a fan of the cold, I'd rather the heat. Spring's always the best time of year. Everything's growing and green and good. Things are going well. It's exciting. You're sort of preparing for hay, and it's sort of the growing season. That's the best time of year. Sheep are happy and fat. So I'm going to go and spray our Lucerne now with a bit of 2,4-D to kill some broadleaf weeds in it. It was chewed off. It's been chewed off by the AI lambs the past sort of week. We've had them on there for about a week, and they've done a pretty good job. So the Lucerne's nice and short now, and then we're going to spray this and hopefully kill all the broadleaves and make it a bit cleaner crop for hay this year. So I'm just going to hook onto this tandem trailer here, and then put a 1,000 litre tank on it, and I'll fill up before I take it. I'll take the trailer down there first and leave it down there, and then it depends if Dad's back or not, and then I'll fill the tractor up before, and I can just fill up once I've got the trailer down there. We've got a bit of spraying coming up, so if I get this trailer set up for it and ready to go, it'll be right then. I'll make nice sure those 60 lambs that we've got down and we're share farming, we shore them on Sunday, so I just want to take a bit of water down. I should have done it before I took them back down there, but I just want to take some water down and get them in the yards and spray it all over them to try and get their pores to close up because it's still sort of winter and there's a bit of rain coming next week. I just want to get their paws all closed up and get them used to having get their first bit of water on them before the weather hits, and they'll be a lot better off for that. And while it's a good day, it'll be good drying day for them too. So that's another reason I'm putting the tank on the trailer. We do have a pretty good bore system here, all through the drought a couple of years ago. When we were getting very low on water, we were carting water to one paddock. The bore never dried up, never looked like it, never got dirty, never even looked like drying up, which is really assuring to know, knowing that we've got a really good system down there. I think it's about 40 meters deep, so I don't think that's too bad. It just gets pumped from there, it comes out of the ground and goes to a tank up. You can't quite see it, but it's up the top of the hill there. And then just gravity feeds down. We've got a few troughs down there. The one that I emptied this morning, that's all bore water. All the troughs are bore water. The stock seem to do good on this bore water. Alright, so this is the stuff we're using. Mainly for the control of there's a few thistles in there, so got to spray a bit of this now, and then in a week's time we've got to come through with a bit of spray seed, a few other weeds in there like the ryegrass and things like that. So 3 litres of this to the hectare. There's a little plastic blocking thing that comes off the drums there that I've got to try and get out. Wait till it comes up to the top a bit and I'll try and scoop it out. It's been in there for a while and now it's just annoying. Bit of dust flying about. Just dropped the trailer off down there. I'm just heading back now to get the tractor and we'll start spraying. Pearler of a day for it. Under the stars, I see everything. So you'll notice it looks pretty grey out there, and that's just the old loosened stalks. That's just the old loosened stalks that have been frosted off. So the loosen underneath, you can see here's an old stalk here, and that's the loosen coming up underneath it there. So, but we're trying to spray some of the broadleafs out of it. This stuff here and just bits and pieces. It won't quite kill these Scotch thistles, but they'll come out as we keep making hay. We'll just keep picking the seed up, and then they'll eventually get smothered out. In me, we got it made. Fill the future up with flowers and champagne. We got the world beneath our feet, 'cause I have found that I am who I wanna be when you're around. You give me everything I need, and you can't fight the moonlight when it's moving in, and the feeling you're giving me, I'm giving in. You got me dancing with no shoes tonight, out here in the street, taking chances like we're kids tonight, like we're 17. Every day that I'm with you, I'm putting the whole liquid in that tank. I'm putting it on 100 litres to the hectare. So what that means is, I said I was putting 3 litres of the chemical on. So out of that 100 litres per hectare, only 3 litres of it is actually chemical. So it's not very much at all. It's 97% water. So just a little fact, maybe that some of you didn't realise. They think that I'm just spraying a whole heap of chemical on grass, and it's no good for the environment. And you know, 3% of what I'm putting on is chemical. But the loosen doesn't look too bad. it's all sitting there down below. The sheep did a really good job of chewing it off. This spray is just going to get rid of those broadleaf weeds and hopefully make a pretty clean crop for hay, or help it. First cut will be a bit, might be have a few weeds in it, but the second cut should be hopefully pretty good. It's all a learning curve. We've never done Lucerne before, so there's a bit over there I've just got to spray out, and we're going to sow that again, just because in a normal year it would have been good, but because the last year's just been so wet, there was just a bit, it's just a bit heavier soil as you get away from the creek further, and it just didn't do quite as well. There is a little bit of Lucerne underneath, but there's a lot of sort of watery, reedy type pit rush, I think it's called. So I'm going to spray that out and we're going to sow that again. First load done now, just heading back to the trailer to fill up again. There's not too much left there. It's only probably a hectare or so, which is another reason I brought the trailer down. Annoying having to go all the way back home to the border to fill up 100 litres. So I'll do that little bit with the 22.4D, and then we'll spray this other it's probably 2 hectares of stuff that'll have to be resown of the wet patch. Just finished spraying now, done the Roundup 2 over there where we're going to re-sow. Just going to clean the sprayer out now. Rinse a bit of water through it. Note to self next time, park the trailer right next to the fence so you don't have to fold the boom up every time you have to go through the gate. It's bloody painful. Lucky I only had to fill up twice. Just got back home now. Apologies I didn't get any drone shots. I've been having trouble with the charging port on my phone, and I can't get the drone. I think just being on the farm and always getting dust and stuff in there, I think it's just stopped working. By looking in there, one of the contacts is like bent, I think, and that must be the problem, so I'll have to go and get that fixed. So just coming back to get the trailer now. These are the AI lambs. They're poking along pretty well. There's a heap of feed in here. I'm going to put the rest of the cows in here too and try and chew this off. This paddock we made a little bit of pasture hay just behind me there last year, and I think we'll do the same again this year. Got clients that for their horses and stuff, they seem to like the pasture hay just to supplement them a little bit. So look at these two. First go. Just joking, there's a reversing camera there. That wasn't a guess. So these are the lambs down here that Dan and I bought. You've seen these guys before, except last time you would have seen them, they would have been woolly. We shore them on Sunday. Because it's that time of year, I'm just going to run them in here and just spray a bit of water on them, because what that'll do is close up the pores on their skin and help them adjust to the cooler weather with the no wool on them. So I'm going to do that now, just because they're calling for a little bit of rain sort of mid next week, I think. Probably not too much, but it's just, if I can do this, they'll be right then for next week. So they're going pretty well though. We'll probably only keep these for a couple more weeks probably, and then we'll get rid of them, because that oaten paddock there, it's sort of all about that tall, and it's sort of staying ahead of these 60 crossbred lambs, because there's 14 hectares there. But if we can get them off it, and then I'll mulch all the older shit out of it, and when it starts to warm up properly and a bit of moisture, we'll put a bit of urea on it probably, make a bit of silage. Go back, go back. So yeah, I should say I'm doing it, I'm putting water on them now. You're probably thinking, well, it's going to rain next week, what's the point? But I'm doing it now while the weather's good. You know, we're meant to be right for a couple of days, and it's supposed to be fine weather and not cold or windy, so that's why I'm doing it now, just in case the weather turns nasty next week. There you go, fellas. So I know you might be thinking that's a bit cruel, but trust me, they'll be a lot better off for it if it does rain next week. Well, when it does rain, they'll just be a lot better off for it. I should have done it straight after we shore them, but we're just in a rush and had a few other things going on, so wasn't so bad, was it? Bit of a wash. Just let them wander out. Ah, sit, Ali. Job done. Come on, Max. Come out, Viddy. Come here. What are you doing? Anyway, guys, I'm just gonna quickly wash the sprayer out properly. I sort of rinsed it a bit in the paddock, but I'll do a proper rinse now. Got a little bit of hay to load onto a truck a bit later on, but it's just important now that we're gonna started spraying Lucerne, like in crop sprays. Sort of want to try and keep the sprayer as clean as I possibly can. Sort of wasn't as important before the Lucerne, because all we were spraying was Roundup and, you know, fallowing paddocks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one, and the sun's setting, and we'll catch you in the next one. Alrighty, see ya, bye.